You know, when you think about the American justice system, a criminal trial is supposed to be a fair contest, right? It's one person standing up against the massive power of the government. But what's to stop it from being a totally lopsided fight?
I mean, when your freedom is on the line, what actually stops the system from just steamrolling you? Well, the answer is a single, incredibly powerful promise written right into the Bill of Rights.
And that promise is the whole point of the Sixth Amendment. It's all about one thing: leveling the playing field. It's a constitutional guarantee that every single citizen gets a fair shot when they have to step into a courtroom.
And here it is, the Sixth Amendment. Now, don't let the legal language fool you. Think of this as the official rulebook for a fair trial. It lays out these absolute, non-negotiable rights that protect you from the government's overwhelming power.
And get this, it's been around since 1791. This wasn't some kind of afterthought. It was part of the original Bill of Rights. The founders knew right away that protecting people accused of crimes was absolutely fundamental to the whole American experiment.
So, how does it actually guarantee that fair fight? Well, it starts with two really basic but crucial ideas about time and transparency, what I like to call the clock and the crowd.
Just imagine this for a second. What if the government could just point a finger at you, lock you up, and then just leave you there for years with no trial? And if a trial ever did happen, it would be totally secret, behind closed doors. It's a pretty terrifying thought, right? And it's exactly what the Sixth Amendment was built to stop.
This is where the amendment steps in and says, nope, not going to happen. The right to a speedy trial means the government can't just put your life on pause forever. And the right to a public trial, that makes sure the whole system has to operate out in the open, which is a massive guard against injustice.
Okay, so we've covered the when and the where of a trial. But now, let's get into the how. The actual mechanics of what makes a hearing fair. Seriously, think about it. How could you possibly defend yourself if nobody told you exactly what crime you were being accused of? Or what if the people deciding your fate, the jury, already thought you were guilty before they heard a single word of testimony? It'd be a joke, an impossible fight. And the Sixth Amendment has this amazing 1-2 punch to solve that problem. First, you have the right to be told the exact nature and cause of the accusation. No guessing games, no secret charges. Second, you are guaranteed an impartial jury, a group of your peers from right there in your community who are totally unbiased and ready to listen to the facts. All right, so you've got a speedy public trial, you know the charges, and you have a fair jury. But how do you actually fight back? Well, the amendment gives every defendant a practical toolkit to build their case. Imagine being on trial where you just have to sit there and listen while witness after witness testifies against you. And you can't question them, can't challenge what they're saying, can't present your own side of the story. That's not a trial, is it? It's just a one-sided lecture. To stop that from ever happening, the Sixth Amendment gives you 3 incredibly important tools. Tool number 1, you get to confront and cross-examine the witnesses against you. Tool number 2, you can use the government's power, a subpoena, to force your own witnesses to show up and testify for you. And tool number 3, maybe the most important of all, you get to have a lawyer. And that right to a lawyer, man, that is huge. For a long, long time, it just meant you were allowed to hire one. But then came this landmark Supreme Court case in 1963, Gideon v. Wainwright. And it completely changed the game. It established that if you can't afford a lawyer, the government must give you one. This makes sure it's never just you, all alone, against a whole team of government lawyers. So all this brings us to the big question, right? This thing was written over 230 years ago. Why does the Sixth Amendment still matter so much today? Well, let's break it down one more time. Every single right in the Sixth Amendment is basically a shield against a specific kind of unfairness. A speedy and public trial stops secret, endless jail time. An impartial jury stops a rigged trial. Knowing the charges keeps you from fighting in the dark, and having witnesses and a lawyer, that prevents a one-sided show. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. The Sixth Amendment is the great equalizer in our justice system. It's there to keep that delicate but absolutely essential balance between your rights as an individual and the massive power of the state. It makes sure that justice isn't just about winning or losing, but about a fair process for everybody. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. The people who wrote this amendment, they couldn't have possibly imagined a world with 24-hour news, with social media, where a story or a rumor can go around the entire planet in minutes. So in this age of instant information, what does it truly mean to find an impartial jury? It's a heck of a question, and it's one that brings this 18th century right squarely into the challenges of today.